how about your relationship?
Mm.
Yeah. I have seen a few posts you share about your marriage, and you talk about your marriage. Your husband is a French, and so how is it like? What's your marriage like? Yeah.
Yeah, marriage tips. Ha. Easy. Work in progress all the time. I've been with my husband for 18 years and we've been married for 13. It has not been the easiest of relationships. We have separated at least 3 times. And even in those separations, it's a case of, and most of the times it's because I guess the focus has been, I don't want what I don't want. What I'm realizing is when you focus on what you don't want, guess what seems to keep creeping up? The exact same thing. And it's a real life lesson to, and if you want to look at it as living the dream, that's fine. But to focus on what you do want, regardless of what you're seeing that you don't want. That's the real work. A lot of this world is based on criticism, criticizing. If only we realize that what perpetuates the same kind of behaviors we don't want. So for me, it's a work in progress. Recently, well, the last separation, what had happened was I decided to start working more on myself. It was hard because we have children and they're witnessing all of this in between. And when I say separated, he was living in a different place from the home. And while working on myself through a self-development group here in the UK called Champion Academy, he was also working on his self. And then he started to come to, let's say, Champion Academy meetings. At first, I was very cautious, like, oh, you're just doing this to get back into my good books. But the more I released and said, well, if you are doing it to get into my good books, there are worse things you could have been doing. Come back to me. That's still where the real life lesson is, Natalie. A lot of us still looking from the outside then coming in. If you do this, then I would. And then if you could only do this, then I would. And the real work is when I flip learning it and I go, okay, oh, the mirror's looking at me. Oh, why is my face looking like that? Why did I say that like that? Okay, let me relearn and then put it out there. Okay, it's nice when you, I like so much if you, or I feel when you, so much more powerful than why didn't you? You could have, you should have, I wish you would. It changes a lot. So the work in progress really for the both of us starts first with me, and not taking things so personal. For me, I'm very in the moment. I'm here now. I want it done yesterday. But with my husband, there's a lot of processing of the information. So when she says this, she means this first, then that, then the other. That. Whereas I would think maybe the way I communicated it, he should understand. So it's learning the language. Okay, what I need to say to my husband first is, and then get feedback. And then, okay, yes, he got it the way I meant. Then come with the second thing. So it's a slower process. And once I continue working through things like that, I'm seeing more progress. It's slower for me, but it's progress nevertheless. And that's how we're moving forward. And we're doing that with our finances, doing that with our, I want to say our couple time and single time. It's really important, I think, for married couples to give each other space and to establish when is it their time space. So I know we have things called date night. I've tried date night. It fails often. I haven't given up on it. It's more challenging now because of restrictions here in the UK that we can't go. But a date time might be a walk in the park, 30 minutes just chatting about anything. It doesn't have to always be so structured that you think, oh, I have to go to work, it's 9 o'clock. Oh, I have to go date night at 9 o'clock. But it could be, hey, how about we go for an ice cream? Yeah, let's go and get the bread together. Ooh, and spice it up. So a lot of my marriage relationship starts with where I am at and how I take it out there. It's not perfect, but it's a much better version of what it used to be when we first started. So it's a lot of listening now. And sometimes the listening is there and then here, there, and then here. Yeah.
Wow.
For me, I love looking at and listening to, and I know this is happening in your life as well, Tony Robbins, and what he's sharing and how to incorporate that into not just my marriage relationship, but especially where I'm at with what I think marriage should be and could be through my parents' relationship, and changing the story or the label around it to then move forward. It almost feels like I'm in no man's land, but from a good place.
Wow, thank you that experience, sharing, because it's invaluable. And I could hear, you in the marriage, you keep learning how to communicate, what's the best to let the other person know your thinking, your feelings. It's not just pointing finger to, hey, you should listen to me, or things like that, which I did most of the time in the past. And it really make things very messy. But when we know how to communicate, and also look at the mirror, look at ourselves, why are we talking that way? So we'll learn, and the relationship will improve.
It does. And by no stretch of the imagination is it perfect. I don't think I'm looking for perfection either. I'm just looking for belonging in it throughout. So for me to be my best authentic self, sometimes I'm a little goofy and he's not in the mood, or sometimes he's very goofy and I'm not in the mood. I go into the parent stage, really. Other times we could, convene and we're both at the child stage, and that's where you have the foreplay and any other adult stuff that might happen, and we go through life. Many times I've been faced with a lot of challenges, where alternative partners, I'm kind of afraid to share, but hey, this is life. Alternative individuals kind of that grass looks greener. I'm going to try some of that. I've not been the best of wives. However, what I'm realizing, the journey is going to still be the same. So regardless of which partner you have chosen, that journey of looking at the how of what you do, and even more importantly, the why of what you do, is the same. And when that realization came, the grass is greener in other person doesn't become an alternative anymore. It's now a choice. And in choice is where you have your superpower, and then you work that. And this is not just with marriage, Natalie. I'm realizing too, it's especially with my children. Can I talk about our relationship? I have